Welcome to the Please Do Tell podcast, where age is just a number and stories know no bounds. I'm Ronnika, your millennial storyteller, here to bridge the generation gap, one captivating narrative, at a time. In each episode, we embark on a journey together, exploring shared experiences, heartfelt connections, and the timeless art of storytelling. From the wisdom of baby boomers to the experiences of Gen Z, there's a tale for everyone in our diverse tapestry of human experiences. So grab your favorite beverage, check. Settle into your comfiest chair, check. And prepare to be swept away by tales to resonate across generations. Get ready for insights, laughter, and moments that remind us of our shared community. So without further ado, let's hit it. Hey, my homies, and welcome back to another episode of Storytelling. This is the last week in July, you all. The last week. And in true July fashion, a plot twist. My news feed is in shambles. I just want to tell everyone that you must exercise your right to vote this fall, okay? We need to continue to be the example for younger generations. I grew up going to the polls with my elders, and I know that another reason why I continue to vote today. So remember, elections do matter. Someone tweeted this past week that millennials have experienced a lot over the last 35 years, but isn't that just how time works? Excuse me, this person said history book type events. I remember asking my mom, does she vividly remember where she was when she found out about the assassinations of President JFK, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X? And she can vividly remember all of them, but I'm sure all of us will never, ever forget COVID-19. Ever. And this upcoming election, we will probably never forget. All right, so there. I just wanted to put that out there because I know it's been a little heavy since the last episode. And yeah, just having a conversation with some rising seniors this past week, and they knew all about just everything that's going on, and they were wishing that they were 18 so they can get out there and exercise their right to vote, even though they haven't really seen elders in their lives doing so. So we definitely have to do a better job when it comes to that. Okay, my homies? Okay. All right. So I told you all that July is always just a month of clarity and shift for me. So I'm going to try to get through this episode without being very, very emotional, because what happened yesterday was just an absolute roller coaster that I needed to be on. And quite frankly, I was glad that I woke up this morning and was able to get off of it. Let's just say all that. I feel like it's like two stories weaved into one today. So we're just going to just follow with me. And the color, before I forget, Rite Aid in Michigan, and I think in a couple other states, is going out of business. When the Rite Aid in Ben Harbor went out of business, or was closing down, same thing. Their nail polishes, their Essie nail polish were no. I got a few bottles for like 50 cents, $1. And I didn't spend more than $2. That's really how I built my huge collection of nail polish. But the one that's closing in Coloma, they haven't quite gotten down on the percentage like I want them to. I need that percentage to be not 20%. I need stuff to be 50, 75% off so it can move right out the door. But today, the color that I'm going to use today is Main Character Moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm starting to feel like it's a theme of green today, just shades of green. I just noticed my shirt is green, my glasses are green, and the nail polish is green. So you'll see why I decided to choose this color for this episode. All right, y'all. You ready? Let's do it. Okay. So this is actually the 16th anniversary of me moving to North Carolina. I'm recording this episode on July 25th. And so July 26th at 1 a.m. is when, Eastern time, is when I backed out of the driveway and embarked on that journey to North Carolina. And as soon as I got in the car, because my sister has experienced the same thing with my dad being very upset about moving away and everything. So she got me this book, this Route 365 book, and I'm going to read what's in there today. So I'll try not to I don't think I've read it in a long time. I don't remember. I'm sure I'll go through a couple pages and some things will probably come back to me. But yeah, let's dive into that first. So it was directions for your life journey, and it's a very easy read, but I'll just read the first part of it. And it's these chapters about overload, poor vision, shared burdens, hidden rewards, temptation, finding strength, life's seasons. I think that's the one that I really hang on to, and it even has scriptures attached to it. The emotions that I'll feel of divine guidance, anger, and dating, but we won't really get into that one because I think I didn't talk to y'all enough about dating. Debts and the past. So I'm going to start with life seasons. And the scripture is Leviticus 26:4. I will send you rain in its season, and the ground will yield its crops, and the trees of the fields their fruit. When you've planned a day hiking and spring rain comes down in buckets, you probably forget God's seasonal plan. You want exercise, and the earth's renewal is the last thing on your mind. A fresh tomato or crisp autumn apple isn't in your thoughts, but God has kept them in mind. Only a few months down the road, He knows you'll be enjoying the fruit of this watering. When delays bring life's plans to a halt, a friend can't rent an apartment with you, or the ministry you've developed just falls through. Remember, God has seasons in our lives too. Through that disappointment, He is creating something you'll enjoy in the future. You may not understand it today, but a month or year later, you'll experience the benefits of the new growth He was watering. Lord, I don't always see the fruit that's coming from my life. Make me bear good fruit in abundance. I'll go back and revisit this book as we continue along with story time. Whenever I think about this week, because I've told you in previous episodes that July 26th is the day that I moved to North Carolina in 2008, and then July 26th of 2021 is when I defended my thesis, and I was able to tell my advisors that this was a full circle moment for me. So when I continue to reflect about this time of year for myself, I think that, there's something new I need to be doing. There's something new I need to be launching. I need to really focus on that. So let me run down what I've done. As I was going through papers, and I think I told you I've been purging, and being an archivist, you tend to keep things. You tend to keep things. I came across this piece of paper, and this piece of paper actually tells about the first exhibit that I was ever a part of. It was in 2011. It was at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Wilson Special Collections Library. And it was after an internship that I had at the Stagville Plantation, which is in Durham, North Carolina, is the largest plantation in North Carolina. And it was telling the stories of the enslaved population that lived there. So it was actually going through the Benahan and Cameron plantation papers to piece a lot of these stories together. And I remember, standing by my part of the exhibit, communicating with the public, and just talking about my experiences of actually being a girl that knowing that her roots were from the South, but not spending a whole lot of time there. And my first time living in the South was as an adult. So all really the things and the values and a lot of my upbringing was from the Midwest with grandparents that were clearly born in the South. So I was able to kind of bridge those two worlds together. Today, July 25th, I decided to, since it's 6 weeks, exactly 6 weeks from today, that the day that I'm speaking to you right now, and it'll be the opening of Retracing Their Steps, which is my family's story, their great migration story. And before I even decided to do this exhibit, I kept thinking, girl, what you know about the exhibit? Like, you've worked in the archives. And then God sent me this reminder of, like, there was a season when you were doing exhibits, you were doing interviews with newspapers, you were really trying to get these stories out there. So it was also a point of reminder for me again, is that stories have always been a part of my life. I spent last night, because again, it was month of July, a couple weeks ago, I was sitting on a call and I said, Lord, something has to change. I just feel like it's a lot going on. It's very cloudy. I know what I want to do in September with this exhibit, but I have so many other things going on. I have these passion projects. I have this going on. I have that. And then I got to thinking, are they just passion projects? I get on this call last night with about 15 other people. And we were just talking about branding, and we were talking about women. It was just a room of women, entrepreneurs that just needed a little guidance. We needed a little push. So we were on there with Ronnie Brown, and she was doing the popcorn method. Like, you had to be ready. She said, in 60 seconds, I need you to tell me what you need help with and how we can just like support you going forward. 60 seconds. I said, okay, that's like a real social media. So it's like, keep it. Just keep it quick, girl. Keep it quick. So it was my turn. And the first thing I thought, after I heard about maybe 8 people go before me, I think it was about 8 people went before me. And I got to thinking, like, oh gosh, this is my main character moment. Get it? See how I typed it in there? I got on the call. I started talking, and I immediately felt the anxiety rising, because I know that imposter syndrome was trying to creep up, and that imposter syndrome will keep you from asking for help and accepting help. And I just had to block that out at that moment, because I saw how quickly all the women that were going before me were having these aha moments, like, oh yeah, okay, I didn't think about it that way. Oh, yep, that's true too. The first thing I said was, okay, I've learned so much thus far, but I'm the girl that starts a lot of projects. And she said, ooh, you're a dangerous girl. And I thought, okay. So she said, well, tell me a little bit about what you've done. And I told her, I said, from grief stories to doing HBCU stories, community stories. I just feel like I've done them all. And now that I'm focusing on retracing their steps, I don't want anything else to feel like I'm neglecting it. And we talked about the podcast. And then she said, okay, so are these passion projects, or are you making money from them? She said, well, once upon a time, were you even making money from them? And I sat with that, because I have heard it before, that I know that I am the person that is going out into the world and I'm like, I want to make a change. I want to make a change. I want to make a change. And then we hear about a lot of leaders that had that passion, that had that drive and went out there. And then you hear them and you're like, oh gosh, but they died broke. Like, how were they sustaining themselves all that time? And even when I think about elders in my family, even as of recently, it was, but they died broke. But does that take away from the impact that they had on so many communities and for some of them, the world? So I sat with that for a moment and I really got to, I was listening to everything she was saying, and she said, I want you to think very hard about what you've done and what is some things that you need to give up. And all of my projects are my babies, right? So I'm thinking, how do I close down anything? Last year, I did the Still Thankful Challenge. I felt like that was closure for me because I believe I said that was like 7 years strong. And then I'm always thinking of, numbers. And I think I told you about my obsession with time, even with texting at the top of the hour. If I've never told you that, that's a sidebar story. But completion and then deciding to start something new and sticking with it. And knowing that there are truly seasons for things that we work on. I published a children's book a couple weeks after, or it was completed 2 weeks after I was laid off from what I thought was my dream job. We've talked about that. And that was Adventures of Alley Cats, the Missing President. Then when I started actually, I think, promoting it, I was like, oh, it's going to be a series. It's going to be a series. And then over time, it started to evolve into something else. And I was like, oh no, but I promised the people that it was just going to be a book series. And not really recognizing that brands can change. They can morph into something else. And it's okay. And sometimes you have to just put things to the side. I've been hosting Pechacucha since 2018, December of 2018. That's the live storytelling event that we do locally. Been one of the organizers of that. And even when I go to, I went to an exhibit opening last Friday, and someone walked up to me and was like, Pechacucha, right? Yeah. And I think about Final 48. Mom, when you see this episode, I wonder if you know what I'm going to notice, because there's a spider. I have really bad arachnophobia, and there's a spider coming from the ceiling right now. You all guys can see it. Oh my gosh. That's what makes it so funny. Can you? Oh my gosh. Oh no, it's the wrong camera.
Oh shoot.
So yeah, that's my life. But yeah. So thank you, Laura. I just needed to, because hey, I laugh in my brain all the time. So that was definitely because my mom knows how I am. And if you've been a long time homie, you know I've talked about naming spiders and all of that growing up. Let me get back on task. So this fall, it'll be 10 years since I collected the first Final 48 stories, which is the journey of grief in the Black community. And this upcoming Tuesday, July 30th, I'll be speaking at a community grief dinner. And it was really beautiful that in one of the meetings, Mrs. Bertha, who grew up with my dad. So that's village for sure. Okay, it's village for real, for real. She said in the meeting that this was a vision of Ronika's back in 2019. And I feel that we are 5 years in and she needs to be the speaker at this event. Mind you, on this call, I was sick as I don't know what. And I don't think it was COVID. I'm pretty sure it was a COVID thing. I don't think it was COVID, but it was an opportunity for me to say, like, am I walking away from this? Or am I walking away from doing events like this? Or what does this look like for? I'm always looking for a lesson or for the spirit to kind of step in and say, oh no, this is what you're supposed to be doing with this. And Final 48 has been its own brand for so long that I really feel like that's my baby. Like I say, all of them are my babies, but they're really my babies. So I've really been struggling with that. I've been struggling with, we talked about Please Do Tell. Please Do Tell is the vehicle for me to get these stories out there. So this is what I love. I love showing up. I love having story time with you all. I love when you all send me inboxes or you text me. For those that do have my personal number, when they text me and say, hey, they give me a reference from one of the shows, or you just leave me comments on social media, it just really, it makes it makes me feel like I'm doing something right, you know? Like I'm showing up in the right way, and you're actually taking something away from the stories that I'm sharing. And then I look at Stories to Line and retracing their steps. And Ronnie said, okay, so I'm trying to figure out, okay, would I really want to come to an event where somebody is talking about like their family story? Like, let's really look at that. So we started to dive into that. And then she said, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm one of those people that did Ancestry because I couldn't tell you anything past like my grandparents. I don't know, like cousins. I don't know any of these people. And I told her, I said, I want to be like the Dr. Henry Louis Gates for millennials when it comes to ancestry and our stories, and especially our Great Migration stories. And she said, and you're needed. So that's it. That's your brand. And I thought about, well, what about my other ones? What I didn't get a chance to talk. She said, no, that's your brand. My friends can tell you I'll walk. Who your people? I don't even care if I'm not from the area. So tell me about your family. Tell me about your upbringing. I don't even really want to know what you do as far as a job. I don't. I want to hear more historical stories about someone. And she said, yeah, that's it. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So when I found this flyer and securing the venue as of yesterday and going over logistics and what would the exhibit look like, launching it locally on September 5th, I was on a roller coaster ride. And then I woke up this morning with anxiety that went into a place of peace even as I was coming into the studio. The Lord was saying that this was a season of your life. You have this background in archives and research and storytelling, but it is okay to let some things go. Or you become an archivist so you can archive these stories. You don't have to continue to chase like new stories when it comes to, or you can add to. You can always add to your archive. But let me tell you what I do just on a weekly basis, like just weekly. So Monday, I do the nails. She can nail a story for Manicure Monday. And I usually do that. Well, I definitely do it on Monday, but I'm starting to do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then Tuesday, I do Grief Talk Tuesday on the Final 48 project page. Wednesday, like I said, I'm doing the nails. Thursday, I'm doing some throwback, or I'm recording in the studio. And I'm going through the archives and I'm showing you some things that, just some throwback stories. And then Fridays, I'm usually doing like a launch of some sort. And I'm also talking about nails. But then I thought, man, I used to incorporate Adventures of Alley Cats in there. I used to incorporate Still Lens when I was a blogger. Archives Lifestyle when I blogged the very first time. And then I still have to promote Please Do Tell, and then all the other community things that I was a part of. And I thought, gosh, I have been doing a lot of passion projects, but those passion projects have led me to a place of like showing that, oh, I know what I'm doing. So now that I know what I'm doing, I need to be out there more. I can't continue to hide behind like, oh yeah, I did that, a couple years ago. It's nothing really big. Cause I think I told you that my advisor, my dean in grad school, she told me, she's like, you're too modest. Like, you need to really tell more people what you do. I was in my second bedroom and I was in my corner and it was a tube. It was a poster rolled up. And I unrolled it, and it was when I won second place for this research competition. And it was for the work that I did in Virginia at the Museum of the Confederacy. And I remember after everyone went through that exhibit, and I think about that was another exhibit as well. Like, I've done exhibits. Why was I thinking I couldn't do this one, right? We're going through the exhibits, and I remember afterwards, after the competition was over, and I had one person from the psychology department come up to me and was like, you should have won, right? I said, no, I think everybody did a great job. She said, no, but it wasn't fair because the people that won first place, it was a team of them, and this one was only you. So just stand in that, like, you can get this done. I said, okay. All right. And now that I'm doing retracing their steps, it's not just me, it's a team of us, but it's that team that is pushing me like, we believe in what you're doing. So I am at that place of it's okay to shift and know that seasons do change and that I needed to really look at what I was afraid of. And the last entry in here is about fear. And it's the scripture that was on my bedroom wall throughout college. Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. You can't let yourself be paralyzed by fear. Hold on, y'all, because I brought props and I forgot that. Okay. You can't let yourself be paralyzed by fear or become a prisoner of terror. You need to take some precautions, but you have a life to lead. In times like these, it helps to remember that God is always with you, urging you to be strong and courageous. Find a balance between caution and trust that will allow you to live a full, satisfying, and reasonably safe life. Father, thank you for your comfort and protection, which give me the confidence I need to lead a full life in a world that is never perfectly safe. So, y'all, I still have this book because, hello, my sister gave it to me, and it was clearly it's still, the word never expires. You know that, right? As a homie, you should, and tell another homie that, okay? The word never expires. So I am sitting here boldly saying that as you see some activity on my social media and just seeing me, as I've said before, I wanted everything to be under one roof of Story Salon, but really embracing it and knowing that it's okay to move on to something else because this season has changed. So now we are in the season of retracing their steps, and I'm excited to share this journey with you and to help others tell their own stories of retracing their steps as well. And y'all, that brings us to the end of another episode of Please Do Tell. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the power of storytelling. I do have a few updates. So when you actually view this episode, I will be speaking that evening for the community grief dinner. And as I said before, it's been 10 years since went out there with a camera, with a videographer, and collected my first story, which was actually with who is now my Madam President, Soror, and one of my very good sisters, Kendra. And that was in the fall of 2014 that we did that. And that is something that I believe will always be ongoing, but it looks totally different now. It'll be probably, I'm sure, more videos and capturing them more for a Grief Talk Tuesday type of feel, more of a show feel. So that was a few updates. So I want to tell you, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and tell a homie to subscribe to the episode and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to me. I've even started doing shorts on YouTube, which has been a lot of fun. It's almost like doing reels on Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that. It's been really cool, and to really be able to engage with a new audience because it's reaching more people. And remember, if you have a story you'd like to share, so August, I think I told you I was in the marching band. Well, I started playing the clarinet in the 5th grade, and I was in marching band until 12th grade. And then I just put the clarinet down and didn't pick it back up again. But I am collecting band camp stories. So for the month of August, I need you to let a sister know about, you need to email your audio clip or a story. You can type up a story, that's fine. But please email it to pleasedotellpodcast@gmail.com. And I want to hear about those stories because I know they're going to be good because I have a few of my own. So until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and keep sharing your stories with the world. I'm your homegirl, Ronnika, and this is Please Do Tell. See ya.